Hello, welcome to Raymond Castile's basement of horror. Today we're going to talk about the Anchor Hocking monster glasses. And here they are, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature, and Mummy. And we have some other promotional glasses behind them that are just there for context. We'll talk about them. Just examples of other kinds of vintage promotional glasses. So, the Anchor Hocking monster glasses are from the 1960s. Now, there's some disagreement about whether they were introduced in 1962 or 63. I think 63 seems to be the more credible year, but I have seen 62 and 63 mentioned online. But they're definitely 60s items. They were made as promotional pieces for gas stations. So you got these, you didn't go to the store and buy them, you had to go to a gas station, and then they would be used as promotional items. Like if you filled up your tank, you get a free monster glass. And we'll talk more about a particular promo that one chain did involving these monsters. But let's take a look at one of them, and I hope these photograph. We'll find out in a moment. Here we go. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I was a little concerned about whether these would photograph well, but yeah, it looks good. So there's Frankenstein. I have to be very careful, of course, with these. These are glass. If I drop them, it's going to be bad news. And the scene goes all the way around the glass. It has a nice castle. It looks like Frankie was in the castle and he's gone out for a little stroll. He's had enough of that castle. Yeah, he doesn't want to stay in that castle any longer. He wants to go out and see the town. And I guess that's Glenn Strange's Frankenstein. You know, not officially, but it looks like a Glenn Strange Frankenstein. And I like the lavender color. I like that. It's not Halloween-y. It's not your stereotypical colors. It's a very pleasant color. It almost seems like it should have a fragrance. And just see, why not? Let's show the bottom. Nothing spectacular there. And I like that the artwork goes all the way around and it's opaque. So it's not like a clear background. It has an opaque background. So that's Frankie. We'll just run through all of them right now. Why not? Show the glasses first, yak later. Here is Wolfman. And now that I think of it, both that Frankenstein we just saw and this Wolfman, they're based on specific stills, movie stills. Although I don't think in the Wolfman, I don't think his sleeves are torn like that. That's Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman. Let's see what... He's got a graveyard. Yeah, maybe that's where the Talbot crypt is located. Maybe someone just resurrected the Wolfman. And he's going out to look for victims, like in Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Very authentic looking artwork. No ears on top of his head like the James Bama Aurora painting. Nothing, no Hammer style costume. Because that Aurora artwork really influenced a lot of Wolfman merchandise in the 60s. and you had these wolfmen with ears on top of their heads. But not this one. This is a very screen-accurate Universal Monsters Lon Chaney Jr. Wolfman. The only thing that's where they took some liberties is the sleeves being torn, exposing his arms. And he's a very pleasant blue color. This background is a nice blue. I don't know what you call that shade of blue, but kind of a midnight blue. I really like the colors on these things. Oh, and I just noticed, look at the, look how the green shirt, it doesn't abruptly turn into that kind of almost like an aqua blue for the pants. It bleeds into the blue. There's like a transition, a feathering. I like that. That's different. Frankenstein doesn't have that. All right, now here is the creature from the Black Lagoon. He has kind of a cream-colored background. And I don't know if this is based on any particular movie still. It doesn't ring a bell. It almost has a Revenge of the Creature kind of look. But that's seaweed. Those aren't chains attached to them. But it does look a little more like Revenge of the Creature. I don't know what specific movie image this is based on. It doesn't ring a bell. So let's see what we got here. This is the creature's lair that we see in the first movie. That's his cave from the first movie. And he's called Creature, not Gilman or not Creature from the Black Lagoon. And you can see the Universal copyright, but no date. No date. Well, I mean, he's hoping for a date with Julie Adams, but there's no year date on this glass. Yeah, even though he seems to be in the habitat from the first film, he does kind of look like it's inspired by the Revenge of the Creature. And here is the Mummy. He has like a kind of a blue-green or a minty green. Well, not minty green. I don't know what you call this green. All these colors, they're not ordinary colors. I like these colors. You can almost smell these colors. They're very evocative, very, not what you would expect. And I like that the mummy's head and hands, or his single hand, are green. His bandages are white, but his head and his hand are green. So here's the mummy. Yeah, look at the color on that. You can see when I was talking about the head and hand are green, but the bandages are white. And that's Lon Chaney Jr. as Karras. I wish we could get some Karras merchandise these days. Back in the 60s and 70s, Karras was the Mummy. If you were doing merchandise based on the Mummy, you were doing Karras merchandise. Now it's all Imhotep. It's always Imhotep. Boris Karloff as Imhotep, not Lon Chaney Jr. as Karras. I don't know if it's because something with the Chaney estate and Universal, or just Universal decided that for their marketing purposes, Karloff was their Mummy. I don't know. I mean, Karloff is the Mummy in the original movie, The Mummy, so I can understand that. Chaney is the Mummy in the Karras series, which are sequels to The Mummy, but I don't know what the right, I guess you'd say they rebooted it. they're not the same continuity. It's a different mummy from the one that Karloff played. So there's The Mummy, and that's a very famous movie still, that image of Cheney Jr. for The Mummy. So we'll set you right there. So I wanted to show you some other glasses just to talk about these. These glasses, this used to be a thing. Back when I was a kid, this was a big deal. I love these glasses, and I've got a bunch of these, and they're all from my childhood. I have dozens of these things. These are the ones I could physically reach. Like, they're kind of hard where I have them stored. They're kind of hard to get to. So these were the ones that were within reach that I could grab without everything falling down. So, but I thought this was a good cross-section of what this genre of collecting represents, what this is all about. So these are all collectible, enameled, promotional glasses from, I think they're all from the 1970s. They're all from my childhood. I didn't buy any of these as a collector. These are all from my childhood. And, well, like, here is obviously fast food. That's McDonald's. And here's Hanna-Barbera, the Flintstones TV cartoon. I know, obviously, this one's from McDonald's. Where was this one from? Pepsi Collector Series, 1977, Hanna-Barbera. And these are all 70s. The monsters are 60s. There's no restaurant listed, but I bet it's Pizza Hut. I bet it's Pizza Hut. And here is, what is this? 1973. Yeah, this has got to be a Pizza Hut glass. This is a Warner Brothers Cool Cat. So this would be theatrical cartoons, because the Warner Brothers cartoons were made for theaters. They're made to show before a movie in a cinema. And there's a whole, I don't know how many there are on the set, but there's a ton of these Warner Brothers cartoon characters like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Yosemite Sam, Elmer Fudd, Foghorn Leghorn, Speedy Gonzales. And I'm pretty sure this one's from Pizza Hut. Let me skip over here because this is another Warner Brothers. Also 73. It's Sylvester. And you see how it's clear on the back? Now this sticker is something I put on as a kid. That's not original. That's something I added as a kid. So yeah, this was my glass. I used it. I drank out of it. And I'm sure I have another one that does not have that sticker. I have multiples of most of these. But you see how it's clear and there's the Pepsi logo? There isn't a background like the monsters. It's just clear. It's just the character and it's clear. So I have fond memories of going to Pizza Hut, mostly with my grandparents, when I visited my grandparents, and getting all these, well, also with my parents too. They took me there too, but in the 1970s going to Pizza Hut, and of course Pizza Hut has those red plastic cups, but they also had these promotional glasses, and I always look forward to going to Pizza Hut and coming home with a glass or 2 or 3. So that's very nostalgic. That's one of the reasons these things are so nostalgic, is those memories of going to Pizza Hut. My grandfather would always get this pitcher of beer, just filled up, and just drink the beer. Now this is Burger Chef King Kong. We looked at these in an earlier episode, the 1976 movie glasses. And you see that one has a background, but it's clear back there. And this is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola there. But anyway, this is the Dino De Laurentiis 1976 King Kong movie. So there were movie glasses like this. And we looked at all the King Kong glasses in a previous episode. Oh, that's a beautiful glass. And that's from Burger Chef. I love Burger Chef. That's a forgotten fast food chain from the 70s. But I think, I don't know when it went out of business. I'm thinking the 80s. I'm not sure, but I have a lot of memories of Burger Chef. As a kid, I much preferred Burger Chef over McDonald's any day of the week, for sure. Now these are weird. This is a Love Is. Love Is glass. And what's the information on this? 1970, Los Angeles Times. So I don't know how to explain this. This is Love Is. So this was a fad in the 1970s, this cartoon series. I guess it was in Los Angeles Times. Love Is, and then it's backwards. And it was like, what does it say? Love is a kiss in a summer shower. Love is a kiss in a summer shower. And on the other side, love is when making up lasts longer than the spat. Not lasts longer, but last longer. It's misspelled there. But, so, this is very bizarre and very, very 70s. This cartoon series, these are very popular. This cartoon, merchandise related to this cartoon, was very popular in the 70s. It appears to be 2 naked children making out. That's the thing. That's what it's all about. Just everything, love is this, love is that. It's always these, what appears to be, I mean, maybe they're supposed to be adults. Maybe they're supposed to be grown up, but they sure look like kids, don't they? 2 naked kids, and they're always snuggling and cuddling, and it just says love is, and it's got, them canoodling and then some phrase. And that was a big thing in the 70s. That was a big fad. That was around for a while. And you saw these 2 kids, and I keep saying kids because they look like kids. I mean, don't they? What are those? Are those adults? They don't look like adults. But you saw these 2 on everything. I mean, they were for a while. There's all kinds of merchandise with these characters, just hugging and kissing like that. It's weird. I mean, it's one of those things where it doesn't translate over the years. It's just it's an artifact of its time, and you had to be there. And I like things that don't translate. I like things that do not compute in the modern world, that are so much of their time that they don't cross over to the present. You had to be there to experience it, or you just don't get it. But even at the time, as a kid, I remember I was baffled by these Love Is characters. I didn't get it. I still don't really get it, but it was weird. So even at the time, I thought it was weird. But it's very, very much of its time. King Kong is universal. That works forever. Flintstones is universal. That works forever. This doesn't work forever. This, you had to be there. That is very much of the 70s. So all of these are from the 70s, and this is a genre of collecting that was very, very popular. People bought these like Funko Pops or I don't know, Beanie Babies or something. They adults would buy these. Obviously, people bought them for their kids, but not just hardcore collectors collected these. Just the average person would have a cabinet just full of these. They were collectible. There was something about them that made you just want to collect them all. And I think they still make things, like this, but it's not the same. It's not the phenomenon that it was then. And it's not as cool. I mean, I'm sure you can buy a glass with a character on it, but it's not like these. There's no excitement about going to a Pizza Hut or McDonald's or Burger Chef and oh boy, getting a glass. And there's no excitement about going to a gas station to get a glass, because people would go to these gas stations specifically to get these monster glasses. That was the whole point. They were promotional items to get you to go to the gas station, to that particular gas station. And they worked. People would go to a particular gas station chain that was running a promotion with these monster glasses just so they could get the monster glasses. I'm impressed that I haven't destroyed any of these glasses yet. I've all this handling and nothing's dropped. Not yet. The night is still young. They almost look like there'd be a candle in them. They're very thin. These are 16 ounces. 16-ounce glasses. I don't know what these other ones are, but the monsters are 16 ounces. So I have some notes. Let's read our notes. Okay, so they're made by Anchor Hocking. And Anchor Hocking was founded in 1905. It's headquartered in Lancaster, Ohio. And the name, Anchor Hocking, is named after the Hocking River in Ohio. So Anchor Hocking, it's like being anchored in the river, the Hocking River. Anchor Hocking has manufacturing facilities all over the United States and also in China. And these four glasses are, as you saw, licensed by Universal Studios. They don't have a date on them, but they are licensed Universal items. They're all officially licensed. And this was from an era where people got excited about monsters. That period of the mid-1960s, monsters were a big deal. They were the in thing. You advertise a monster thing that appealed to kids, and you could bring people in. Just like a independent station running shock theater package and announcing that, hey, we've got Frankenstein on Friday night. All the kids are going to stay up Friday night and watch Frankenstein. It was a big deal. Now, as I talked about, these were made for gas stations, and I'm not sure if they came out originally in 62 or 63. I think probably 63, but I'm not. There's some disagreement about that. But they seem to have been in circulation for several years. They didn't just come and go. They were out there for a while. And now let's look at a newspaper ad for these glasses. Now this advertisement is in the collection of Andrew Williams, who you saw in the Machinist Hall Toy Show episode. Andy Williams is a good friend, and he gave us permission to show this ad on the program. So this is a newspaper ad for a Wisconsin gas station chain called Wisco, and their fuel is Wisco 99. It was sort of like an economy fuel. It was cheaper than your normal fuel. And Wisco was one of the gas station chains that pioneered the idea of very fast, efficient service, getting people in and out quickly. And it was a very popular chain in Wisconsin. And this year that they did this Monster promo, they were offering a Monster glass free with a purchase of at least $2 of fuel. And apparently $2 was enough to fill your tank. So if you filled up your tank at the gas station, you would get a Monster glass. Now, I don't know what happened if you only had to fill up half a tank and you didn't spend the $2. I guess you had to maybe drive around the block a few times and run down your tank and then until you could spend $2 to get the Monster glass. I'm not sure, but it does say limit 1 glass per car. So I don't know if there was a run on these and people lined up around the block to get their Monster glass, but they limited it to 1 glass per car. I don't think the Monster glasses were exclusive just to this Wisco chain. I think this is just the chain in Wisconsin at this time that used them as promotional items, but they were not sold in stores. They were meant to be gas station premiums. They were not, they didn't sit on a store shelf. You had to go to a gas station that was running a promo with these glasses. And this Wisco ad says that there's a different Monster every Thursday in August. I couldn't tell reading this if they only gave away the glasses on Thursday, or if the Monster was available all week and then it changed over on Thursday. But it looks like they might have only given them out on Thursdays, because there's 4 Thursdays in August where each day you can get a different Monster. But apparently you couldn't get them different characters on the other days. You had to go on that particular day to get the character you wanted. And the dates were August 10th, August 17, August 24, August 31st, all on a Thursday. So based on those dates, there's only 3 years realistically within the time frame when these glasses were supposed to be available. There's only 3 years that this promotion could have taken place, and that's 1961, 1967, or 1972. Now, 1961 would put it earlier than anyone thinks these glasses were available. So that doesn't sound reasonable. 1972 is possible, but that seems very late. That's like almost a decade after they were introduced. They could have still been hanging around that long, but it seems unlikely. So 1967 is the most likely date. So this promotion is probably from 1967. But even then, that's 4 or 5 years after these glasses first became available. So that shows you how long they were in circulation and how long they were still a big enough deal that a service station could use them as a promotion to bring people in to buy gasoline 5 years later. But there was no internet then. I'm sure the kids that got those glasses that year, that month, in August at that station had never seen these before, had never heard of them, didn't know they existed. So it would have been a big deal to them. It would have been the first time they were finding out about them. So thank you to Andy Williams for letting us look at that newspaper ad. Now let's look at another picture from another collection. This is courtesy of Rusty Whitcroft. This is from the collection of Rusty Whitcroft. He owns a shipping box for these glasses. And as far as I know, this is the only known existing example of the shipping box for the Anchor Hocking monster glasses. And you can see that it's got Frankenstein artwork. I don't think any of the other monsters are pictured, just Frankenstein. It doesn't have a year on it. I was kind of hoping that somewhere on the box it would have a year, so we could know definitively when these came out. But as far as I know, there's no year on it. It does have the universal copyright, though. It's a very interesting piece. I don't think that it reveals any new information about the glasses, but it's a very interesting piece, and it would be wonderful to have that box. In addition to the glasses, it'd be wonderful to have a full box of those glasses. But I think that this box is a prized possession of Mr. Whitcroft, so I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So thank you, Rusty, for letting me use that picture. And that's the end of my notes. So these glasses, I read people talk about how rare they are. They're really not rare. I checked eBay yesterday, and all of these are available now and have been available recently. I checked sold auctions and current auctions, and if you want to buy these right now, you can. They're on eBay. And the prices range maybe $75 to $100 each. When people sell a set, it looks like they usually try to get about $400 for the set. Individually, the prices vary. Some, I think, go for a little more. Some go for a little less. But I think $400 is about right. Sounds like a fair average price for a complete set in nice condition. So they're not free. They're not cheap. You actually have to pay for them, but they're gettable. They're gettable. If you want to collect this set, you can do it. Maybe not like that, but you can do it. I collected these, I think, in the 90s, late 90s, I think. I mean, it could be wrong. It could have been early 2000s, but it was approximately 20 years ago, give or take. And I think I got them all off eBay in the early years of eBay. And I don't know, I didn't pay much. I don't know if I paid $100 for any one of them. I don't think so. If I did, it might have been a creature. But I think most of them were like $40, $50 each. So they haven't really gone up that much. They were 40, 50, 200, depending on character, 20 years ago, and now they're more like 75 to 100, or just a little more than 100. So they've gone up, but not much. And you can't just go to any corner shop and find them, but if you just go on eBay, chances are any week, any month, you'll find them. So my point in all that is simply to say that these are a staple of 60s monster collecting. So anyone who has a 1960s monster collection, if you look at pictures of their monster room, if they have their collection on display, you're going to see a shelf with these 4 glasses. You're going to see a shelf with these things represented in the collection. They're just, like I said, they're a staple. They're kind of ubiquitous in 60s monster collections. Anyone who has a decent 60s monster collection probably has this set of glasses. But they're not that hard to obtain, and they're not that expensive. So I think you get a lot of collecting bang for your buck if you are looking to collect something vintage, something iconic, something that's got a lot of wow factor, something that's going to have, you're going to feel some pride of ownership, some bragging rights to put these on your shelf and, display them without breaking the bank, without going through hell to get them. These are really good. I wouldn't say they're entry level, but they're like maybe level 1 advanced beyond entry level. You're not going to spend a fortune collecting these. It's not going to take you years to get them. And once you have the set, it's very impressive. At least from what I read online, people's reactions are always like, ooh, everyone loves these things. Everyone's excited about these things. So if you're looking for something really cool, 1960s vintage monster items that are very iconic and make a strong statement in your collection, but are not super expensive and are not super hard to find, these are some of the things you should consider pursuing. I would recommend them. They're fragile. You got to be careful. You got to take care of them. You can't bang them up. You can't throw them in a box. You got to take care of them. They're definitely fragile. They're glass, but they're really beautiful, and the colors are wonderful, and the artwork is wonderful, and the way it wraps all the way around the glass, and you can twirl it around and look at this never-ending loop of art. There's lots of detail. They're just really well done. Really well done. And very 60s. The 60s monster craze is right here. They're iconic as examples of the 60s monster craze. So I like them a lot. I've had them a long time. Glad I have them. This is the first time I've laid eyes on them in years and years and years, because I keep them, in a box with bubble wrap and everything. And I just took them out for this, and now they'll go right back in the box again, and I won't see them again for 20 years. I don't know. Maybe on my deathbed I'll ask someone to bring me that box, and there they are. Look at them again. Well, they're lovely little baubles, that's for sure. Okay, so I don't have a whole lot more to say about these glasses. I obviously don't have, well, it's not obvious, you don't know how old I am, but I was not alive when they were new in circulation in the 60s. So I don't have a personal memory of seeing them as a kid, but I do certainly have personal memories of these other glasses from the 70s, and those are very important to me. So by connection to those, these glasses have a nostalgic value for me because they're part of that world. They're earlier than the other ones, but they're part of that same thing, the promotional enameled character glasses that were sold or given away at businesses, whether they're fast food or gas stations or whatever. And that was a fun part of my childhood. So though I don't have childhood memories of those monster glasses, I certainly have childhood memories of that type of item. And so I do feel a sense of nostalgia looking at those monster glasses, even though they're from before my time. I think that's it for today. We haven't seen Billy on the show in a few episodes. He's sleeping upstairs, so hopefully we'll see him again on the program. I thought he might jump up here when we had the glasses and create some havoc, but no, that didn't happen. But hopefully he'll make a return appearance on this program pretty soon. He's usually here. He's usually sleeping or chilling out off to the side somewhere, but it's nice when he jumps up on the table once in a while, and I know people look forward to that, and he hasn't done that in a few episodes, so I hope we see him on the program again very soon. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode and this look at collectible character glasses, particularly the Anchor Hocking Universal Monsters glasses from the 1960s. Remember to please subscribe to this channel if you like what you are seeing and you want to see more of it. And click the bell icon. Hopefully you'll be notified when I upload new videos. It doesn't seem like it always works that way, but that's the way it's supposed to work. So go ahead and click that bell. And we have a Facebook group for Basement of Horror. It's a great group of people, and it would be even greater with you in it. So please, if that interests you, join our Facebook group, the Basement of Horror Facebook group. There'll be a link in the description. Thank you again for watching. Until next time, remember that Basement of Horror will return.